Yeah, I left the mic off on purpose. I just wanted I don't like to be off stage for more than like 6 minutes at a time. And now, I'm very excited. It's actually been a goal of mine for a long time. Ever since I was a kid coming from New York State, where I heard they made laws in smoke-filled rooms, I've always wanted to know what it's like to talk to an alderman since I moved to Chicago. And I now have that chance to share a martini with an alderman, especially after that mic thing. I need a drink. Guys, please welcome to the stage Alderman James Cappelman of Uptown. Did you mix these yourself?
Absolutely.
Good. No, hey, don't waste it. Don't waste it now. That's important. Obviously, you know, this is a dry campus, so these aren't really martinis.
It's watered down.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
Very watered down.
They can't come up and find out. But the point is, I told the alderman, hey, let's get a beer sometime. What did you say?
I don't drink beer.
He's like, oh, well, I guess we can't hang out. But then he said he drinks martinis. And so we mixed some up, and here we are. Alderman, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
You're the alderman of Uptown.
Uptown. A little bit of Lakeview, too.
A little bit of Lakeview, too? Wait, what?
Uptown, too? Yeah, Lakeview.
Okay, well, I guess this still works. It's an Uptown show. That's
It's mostly Uptown.
all right, good. That's as long as it's 51% Uptown, we're fine.
We are 66%.
You know that off the top of your head?
Well, I hope no one checks it, but pretty much.
That's good. So, I guess I've been reading a lot of books about how to interview people just for the show. How to interview for dummies. How to interview for dummies 2. And it says to start with, where were you born?
In a hospital.
Okay, we don't have to be flippant. I mean, I'm not prepared, but this is a little outrageous.
Well, I need to back up. I was born in a hospital, but my family lived in a hospital for 2 years.
So you were born in a hospital, and then you lived in a hospital?
Our family lived in the hospital. My dad was a resident working on his, he was becoming an internist, and back then, residents resided in the hospital.
I see. Residents were residency. So is that technically a house call?
I guess so.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, man.
Actually, I am here today because I lived in the hospital. When I was a baby, I swallowed a diaper pen, stopped breathing, and my mom took me straight to the ER, and the doctor saved my life.
Woo! Was it your father or some other doctor?
Some other doctor.
I bet your dad was mad. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my God, it's getting a little warm now because of the vodka I'm drinking. It's not water. So now you're an alderman. You're an alderman here in Uptown. Something I've heard a lot about Uptown, I think unfairly, is that there are these issues of homelessness. And, you know, I think that these are actually technically citywide issues because I went to school down in the Loop. I've seen homeless folks everywhere. But it seems that there are issues with social services and getting these to the homeless. Is that something that, tell me somebody's working on it, I mean, please.
Well, I mean, we're working on it. When I first became alderman, well, there's 6 homeless shelters within 4 blocks of my home. So there are a lot of shelters, but when I first was elected, there was some shelters, one that stood out where one man lived there just almost 20 years, and a number of people lived there 2, 3, 4 years.
So the idea is not to, having shelters is good because you want to have services for people, but 20 years is an awful long time.
That's a long time. It should not be permanent housing.
So I've heard the term thrown around of wraparound services. Wraparound services. Please define for me wraparound services.
So that is happening right as we speak. We have the largest homeless encampment in the city of Chicago is under the viaducts along Lakeshore Drive.
Yes, that's right, I've seen it.
About 75 people. And we are placing them, they're not going to the shelter system, they're going directly into housing with a case manager assigned to each one. And that person, that case manager will provide wraparound services. Will provide them all the care they need so they become stabilized and they don't need to go back on the streets.
This is very good. The program is called Housing First.
Housing First model.
And it puts housing first. So I get it.
Housing first.
That makes sense. And the thing for me is you were a social worker for about 25, 30 years before you got into politics.
Yes.
And you told me that back in the 80s, it was very common for one homeless person or AIDS patient or mental illness person to have one caseworker. Each person had one caseworker. It was a one-on-one relationship. There was a lot of trust there. They spent a lot of time together. This one person would facilitate services, housing, treatment, all these things. Now that is not the case today.
Right. I was a case manager back in 1988 in Uptown. And I had about 15 clients that I helped house and made sure that they had the services they need to stay off the streets and become stabilized.
And now one homeless person will have how many case managers?
Well, now it gets much more complicated because of funding. Some social services are getting federal grants, some are getting state, some are getting city, some are getting private. So one person might have as many as 12 different social service providers, which complicates things.
Indeed. So one person who may have, schizophrenia or need medication or something has 12 different people to deal with. Back in the 80s, it was just one-on-one. What happened? Why is it so complicated now? Why is it such a boondoggle?
Well, because our state budget is a mess, and
social
services are struggling for funding. So they're struggling, but the process made it so that there's no incentive to coordinate and collaborate with one another. That's the problem.
So they're all kind of segmented, and one is working for one goal, one is working for another goal, all these people working for one
So this new approach, and we're starting this pilot project, and it'll be extended to other parts of the city, but this new approach is we are going to deduplicate services so that one person with serious issues is primarily focused on enhancing relationship with one case manager, and research shows that's the best way to provide stabilization.
One-on-one relationship, that sounds good. That just tastes like olives, yeah. But that sounds good. It is a pilot program, so it's just happening in Uptown now. When can we expect any expansion of this project, provided that it works? But it will work because I heard an interesting piece, because I do research, that this program is being used not only for veterans here in the city, of which it works, I believe, 100% of the time, but there are cities like LA, New York, the state of Utah, where programs like this, New Orleans.
The entire state of Utah.
The entire state of Utah uses this, and it works incredibly well.
Yes.
And they've been using it for decades.
Yes.
So what the heck took so long for us?
That's a question I've been asking too.
Because back in 2003, you tried to write a plan that actually had housing first as its basis.
The city had established a plan, which was a housing first model, which was never really enacted. And then 2012 revised it, and it still had some difficulties getting enacted, and now we're doing it.
That's excellent news. And so if someone wanted to advocate to fast track a program like this, to make it a citywide thing, and really have benefits across the city, who would one call? Who would one write a letter to? I don't write letters, that was good. But who do you contact? Like, whose office do you just show up to unannounced?
Right now it's the Department of Family Support Services.
Okay.
Yeah, Lisa Morrison Butler, great commission.
Write that down. This is excellent news, and I think it's going to keep going. But I think that Uptown is painted unfairly. These are citywide issues, and so moving on, I think that there are a lot of excellent things that will revitalize the area as well.
Yes.
The Wilson Red Line stop is something that's been, oh boy, that's a shiny new thing.
Yes, it's the second most expensive station in the entire city.
Second, couldn't go for first?
It's 95th.
All right.
Red line.
I mean, one elevator might tip you over.
Hey, I'll go for it.
Might not be too late, I don't know. But why is it so important to revitalize this train stop? Obviously, there are other stations along the Red Line, even on the north side, and more specifically on the south side, that really could use, a little more than a spit shine to spruce it up. Why is it so important to have a brand new station?
Well, the city of Chicago, actually across the country, we're making a transition. We're finding more and more people are choosing not to own a car. Many people in their 20s and 30s, because of high college debt Anyone here have high college debt? You're not gonna like this, but my entire college degree cost me $1,600. When I went to college, you could work part-time, have a couple of roommates, graduate from college with no debt. I didn't know anyone with debt. So now we have all these people with huge college debts. They can't afford cars, so they are moving to areas of the city where there's good mass transit system. The Wilson L is one of those transit systems that's really drawing a lot of people. So with that, we now have a huge influx of development happening all over here.
That's excellent news. Well, it sounds like there are a lot of really good things happening here in the ward. We're going to the after party at Drink and Ink after. Can we expect to see you there?
No beer though.
No beer? We'll be doing shots though, shots of vodka, right?
Real vodka.
Right. Not just out of water.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to plug real quick about the ward that is coming up in the near future? Like any special talk shows that you really like?
Oh, gosh. The Lawrence House. That's where Charlie Cappelman lived.
The Lawrence House.
The Lawrence House is going through incredible transformation, and we expect it to be opening up soon.
And what can we find inside the Lawrence House once it's open?
One surprise that no one here will ever guess, a boxing ring. Yes, a boxing ring.
Wow.
And a full-size swimming pool. Beautiful pool.
I don't know if Charlie Chaplin ever did any movies about boxing, but that's serious commitment. I'm not a boxer, as you can tell, so I got nothing for it. And I'm not a vodka. But I really want to thank you for stopping by, Alderman Cappelman.
Absolutely.
One or two drinks? No problem. I got my parking ticket.
All right, we want to welcome you to episode 2 of Paul Calderone, renegade local historian. Time Out called him the bad boy of local knowledge. His mother called him a treasure.
Well, maybe. Paul, what are you doing here now?
We're in Uptown, post-World War II. Uptown is one of the most densely populated neighborhoods post-World War II. The availability of cheap and accessible housing makes it a first stop for new citizens of Chicago.
Lots of
50s
housing.
and 60s, lots of housing.
Okay.
50s and 60s brought in a whole bunch of Appalachian folk to the neighborhood.
Appalachian?
Those are mountain people, Matt.
Oh, okay.
Native Americans, 70s, 80s, we saw Vietnamese, Koreans, Africans, Middle Easterns, Cubans, people from other countries that speak Spanish.
What? No way.
There is more than one pack.
Oh yeah. That's right. Spain.
While also seeing, that's where they got the name.
Please.
Yeah. While also seeing a whole bunch more African American, Latinos coming in from the outlying neighborhoods into Edgewater. I coined a term to describe this hodgepodge of ethnicities, races. It's part of my scholarship. I call it a melting pot.
It doesn't sound very functional. I don't know how you cook with that. It's a melt.
And after the rise that Edgewater, sorry, Matt Stone. After the rise that Uptown took in the first half of the 21st century, it's time to learn a little humility. The flocks of people that flocked to Lawrence and Broadway didn't flock in quite as great flocks as they used to. The Aragon was waning in popularity even before, in 1958, the restaurant next door to it blew up. The explosion and subsequent fire completely destroyed the lobby of the Aragon. They rebuilt it, but it kind of waned. It lived as a indoor flea market, as a boxing arena, as a bingo hall, until it finally landed into its current role as a place where you can see Mumford & Sons.
Big Mumford & Sons fan?
Big Mumhead. Oh yeah.
That sounds about right. Uptown is diverse. Uptown has beautiful architecture. Uptown is the entertainment capital of Chicago.
But this is all the past, Pat. You know I'm a renegade.
Yeah, I know, I see the jacket.
Renegade historians. We don't just deal with the history of the past. Us renegades deal with the history of the future.
That doesn't make any sense, but go on.
Yeah, you want to know what the future history for Uptown is?
I don't know if I do from you.
You're going to have to tune in to the next episode of Paul Calderone, renegade local historian.
That's a little unfair. I'm going to talk to security, and we are going to take a 10-minute intermission, guys. Please use it to use the restroom and try to ply the aldermen with drinks, as well as perhaps even buy White Mystery's new album, Out of Control, on their website. But we'll see you back here in 10. Sound good?